Welcome to another episode on the channel. In today's video, we have the latest purchase, a 2017 Ford Focus ST. So let's take a look at it and see if we can get it off the trailer. Now this was a completely impromptu purchase. I was scrolling through the local auction and I saw this come up, and it wasn't up for auction for a couple weeks, but then it showed up as a timed auction. I threw a low bid at it and ended up winning it. So I went and picked it up today, and before you piss and moan about it being on the trailer backwards, it's far enough forward, there's enough weight on the truck tows beautifully, and it's only 10 miles away going 40 miles an hour on back roads. So I don't want to hear anybody pissing and moaning. Now let's see if we can get it off the trailer. The battery is dead, so the jump box will hopefully get it started. Well, you saw that it wouldn't come off of the trailer under its own power. I had to shove it off. And that was odd because it was running in the video provided by Insurance Auto Auction, but in the couple months that it sat at the lot, the battery catastrophically failed. So I pulled the cover off of the battery, and the negative terminal was covered in corrosion, and the side of the case was cracked, and the battery tray was full of acid. So a new battery from Walmart, and it fires right up, no issues at all. So I guess we'll take a quick look around the outside of it. So the impact was in the front. It hit a deer. It missed the hood. The fender, I'm hoping that the headlight didn't shove the fender out a little bit at the top. So right now the hood's pulled over a little bit from the broken radiator support, but I'm hoping this isn't bent, but that should be fixable, and I can hopefully touch it up without having to paint the fender and the hood, leaving only the bumper cover to paint. And if the bumper cover is the only thing that needs to be painted, then that means no blending. So it should be pretty easy to get the paint to match. This is shadow black, it's not tuxedo black, so it's easy to get close enough that you won't notice. But yeah, I mean, from the surface it doesn't look bad. You can definitely tell, got a broken grill, and all of this plastic stuff back in here is loose. So once I get the bumper cover off, we can see what all's damaged. But from a quick inspection, there's nothing leaking. It has coolant, it has oil. But if we look around the rest of the car, it's not in bad shape. It definitely needs detailed. It's got a few light hail dings in the hood and in the roof, and some door dings down the side, but it's not bad at all. The PDR guy can take care of those dings. I can buff out the car. So it's pretty easy. The wheels do need a little bit of help. They're starting to peel. I'm not sure if they've been refinished or if that's factory finish, but a lot of them are peeling. And if we take a look to the inside, it's a little dirty, but again, if you watch my video on the repossessed Mitsubishi Outlander, this is nothing compared to that. So this is a vacuum and a quick cleaning of the seats. It doesn't smell bad, so this will be easy. And the only thing I did notice, we've got some delamination on all of the upper armrests on all the doors. And looking at the backside, those are heat stake welded on, so it's not like you can take them off easily and have them recovered. So I guess we'll just leave that alone. And you can see, again, we got a blown knee bag. I've noticed on a lot of Ford Fiestas and Focuses especially, I've owned several of them, and some of them bought wrecked, some of them just trashed. But if they're in light accidents, they'll blow the knee bag and the seat belt, but not the driver bag. That's what we have here. Back seat's not bad, light cleaning. And you'll notice this is an ST1, so no options, no sunroof, base cloth seats, base radio, no options. And this is a South Carolina car, so no rust anywhere. And in the back of the car, we've got all-weather floor mats, some golf balls, and some junk. So nothing nothing crazy here. And a full-size spare. And an unbroken cargo cover. So that's a nice thing to have. We can take a look under the hood real quick. Here's our 2-liter turbo. Again, no leaks or anything from up top. The coolant bottle's a little low, but that's pretty normal on these. It's still in the reservoir, just a little bit low. But that's a quick walk around to the car. So I guess it's drivable. So I guess we can take it down the road real quick. All right, it's just a quick drive down the road here. The turbo's boosting, so I don't think there's any issue with the intercooler. The air conditioning's still cold, so condenser should be fine. I think it's just a problem with all superficial bolt-on stuff. Mechanically, we are hopefully okay, and that'll save a lot of money. Got a decent whoosh out of it. I don't hear any suspension noises, really. Brakes seem okay. I'll have to look and see how they are pad-wise. At least they're not vibrating. I mean, mechanically it seems okay. We don't have any warning lights besides a low tire pressure, seatbelt because the seatbelt is unhooked, and restraints. Let's get it in the garage, start taking it apart, see what all is broken. This is a good place to stop for the evening. It only took me about 25 minutes to get it apart this far. And it's really nice of Ford. Pretty much the entire car is held together with the same size Torx bits and push clips. This has made it a lot easier. We got the bumper cover here. And again, bumper cover's broken, grill's broken. The fog light bezel is okay, but that fog light is broken. It's kind of just rattling around. So I'll have to get one of those. And I already knew that there's a support piece that comes across the top here. That's destroyed. And once we get inside, I'm gonna need a box for the ECM. I'm not gonna do anything with this. It is slightly bent in the front here, but structurally it's fine. It didn't kink anything back at the frame rails. It just pushed in this thin metal in the front a little bit. Not a problem. The active grille shutter, this is all destroyed, so I've got to take it apart. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to pull the bumper reinforcement off because that won't slide out behind it. And one thing I was hoping would be okay is this radiator upper tie bar, but we've got a mounting location here that's broken off, and it's got a crack over here, so I'll have to take care of that. But at least the intercooler, condenser, and radiator appear to be fine, at least usable. So this stuff is all easy bolt-on. That'll be really easy to put back together. I'm going to go over to the pull apart this weekend, and hopefully I can source some of these used parts. There's a ton of these Focuses. Not necessarily an ST, but there are a ton of Focuses of this generation in the junkyard, mostly because their DCT transmissions have shit the bed. So a lot of this stuff is common. So the upper tie bar, that's common. The active grille shutter might not be common to all focuses. I'll have to pull the part number on that to see if it crosses over to all of them. So overall, not bad. There isn't much to finish up on the disassembly. I just have to get the upper radiator support out. But to do that, I need to take off the bumper reinforcement, and I also need to take that off to get the remains of this grille shutter shroud out. Once that's out, well, I can do it before either way, but I need to take out the ECM box. It's broken at most of the attachment points, so I'll get a new one of those. And then it should be completely disassembled. Disassembly on the exterior should be done now. This is a tremendously easy car to take apart. So this must have been designed by Ford Germany because it comes apart like a German car. Like the whole front end is a module that can come off in one piece. The upper radiator support is only a few screws on the side, a bolt, and the same on the other side, and then you just unclip bunch of different connectors and then lift it off the top. Now, I did think I was gonna have to take the bumper reinforcement off to get the grille shutter housing out. And after I loosened up all of the nuts on this side, I realized, no, without the radiator support bar in, I can just push the radiator back and it falls out. So that saves a little bit of time because the cooling pack is sitting on a cross member that runs underneath the bumper reinforcement and is attached to the bumper reinforcement. So I would have to disconnect or somehow support all of the cooling pack. So we'll just leave that alone. Now, one other thing, the only thing I noticed with the radiator, when it hit the deer, there's a big duct in here and it must have hit the bumper, which hit that duct, and then it shoved it into the radiator. And it broke off. There's two posts, one on each side, that sit in here, and these posts sit in the upper radiator support, and it locates the radiator to keep it from vibrating and moving. I busted off both of those, but this piece comes out and it has a part number on it. So I think I can replace just this little locator for both sides, and then I don't have to do anything with the radiator. So we'll look up that part number, see if I can find that. That would make it really easy to just clip it in. So next thing, I just need to take this apart, but let's run over to the pull apart and grab what we can. It was a very successful trip to the pull apart today. For $200, I was able to get a knee airbag, a seat belt, and a buckle, the ECM box, the bumper absorber, a new wheel well liner, and also from Facebook Marketplace, I grabbed a couple OEM Focus ST lights, so they're the black housing, and both of those were $125. I do need to re-clear them, which isn't a big deal. I've done that before. I'd rather pay $125 for OEM ones that I need to redo than spend $175 on new aftermarket ones, because aftermarket ones never seem to be quite right. And then also with the LKQ, I've got an upper tie bar. They had a couple black cars there. One was smashed in the front, the other one this was missing. So this was the best one. And the only issue with it, we've got the side of this clip was cracked. So I've got some epoxy on it, and the same on this side. This one was cracked. We could fix that easily, not a big deal. And then preemptively last week, I ordered a bumper cover. So this is aftermarket. Everything else that I'm putting on the car is used OEM, but this is an aftermarket bumper cover. So it came with the bumper cover, a grill, It came with the lower grill, but this one's really cheap looking, so I'm going to swap it out with the OEM along with the fog light bezels. It came with, well, they're down inside, some real cheap looking fog light bezels, so I'll replace those. And it came with fog lights, so I may leave those in or swap them with the OEMs. I'm not sure yet. But once I get the radiator support on the car, I can set that bumper on it and see how well it actually fits. So let's go ahead and swap the ECM box and I guess just keep moving along. Next step, now that I have everything disassembled, I'm going to install the used upper tie bar, and then I'm going to put the bumper cover on it and put the headlights in it and get everything lined up so that I know everything fits correctly. Since how the tie bar is OEM and the headlights are OEM, there shouldn't be any issue with that. So I'm mostly worried about how well the aftermarket bumper cover fits. So we'll get all of that on here. I'll probably have to move the fenders and maybe move the hood around a little bit. And then we'll make sure all of that stuff fits. And then I'll pull it back off. I'll just scuff down the upper radiator support and spray it with some satin black Rust-Oleum paint. And then I can send the bumper cover off to get painted. Even though everything was OEM except for the bumper cover, I still had a heck of a time getting the headlights and the radiator support and the fenders and hood and everything lined up. So I was hoping I could leave the fenders and hood alone, but everything got pushed a little bit with the deer hit, so I had to loosen everything up, move the fenders, move the hood, but everything's finally in its place. Gaps are pretty good. Got out the feeler gauges to make sure everything's pretty even. By eye, it looked fine anyway. And this bumper cover fits pretty decent everywhere, except I'm having a little trouble across the hood line. So if we close the hood, so I got everything fitting okay. It fits good around the headlights, but it's still a little low compared to the hood, if you look at it from down here. So I got to figure out a way to get the bumper cover up a little higher. And I think it should come up a little more once I attach it at the bottom, get that pan across the bottom attached, because if I pull it up a little bit at the bottom, it closes that gap and rotates it up a little more. So hopefully that'll fix that problem. But it's good to test fit everything before you paint anything. That way you're not trying to move around painted parts and then you chip them and whatever. So I guess I can take everything apart and then come in and touch up on the edges where it was chipped in the accident from the headlights getting shoved out of place. So over here I got to touch up a little spot there and down inside the fender.